Okay, so today's topic is atomic structure and properties of material. As you guys have been through the topic of uh, physical states and kinetic particle theory, particulate nature of matter, we have been through these topics. And today we will just discuss about the matter again, the types of matter, the chemical, how we chemically differentiate between different types of matters. As you guys can see, basically the matter can be classified into pure substances and mixtures. The example of mixtures are here air and sea water, and there are different other mixtures. The sand is also mixture. So mixtures are something which are not chemically combined together. There are homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixtures. Homogeneous mixtures, uh, they are also known as solution. The aqueous solution of salt and water is also a mixture. Okay. So mixture is a substance in which chemicals are not combined together chemically. The matters are not combined together chemically. Okay. And heterogeneous mixtures. Okay. Homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixtures. They both can form a collide. What is a collide? Um, when you like dissolve something in water, like when you dissolve fine sand in water, okay, or anything like that, which does not separate itself, okay. When you leave that thing, जब आप उसको छोड़ देते हैं लंबे टाइम के लिए, तो भी वो अपने आप को सेपरेट नहीं करती. So that is a collide. And the difference between collide and suspension is that suspension, it separates itself. ठीक है, यानी आप उसको थोड़े टाइम के लिए अगर रख दें, when you leave the mixture, the suspension layers, different layers of different chemicals will form. So the next thing is pure substance. Pure substance can be elements, they can be compounds. Okay. Elements can change themselves into compounds by chemically reacting with other elements or other compounds. Okay. We can classify elements in metal, non-metal, metalloids, and noble gases. Okay. And there is a periodic table in which these classifications are represented. On the left side of the periodic table, we have metals, and on the right side, we have non-metals, and in between are metalloids. Okay. The metallic properties are decreasing from left to right. The noble gases are on the extreme right-hand side, group 8. We will discuss the periodic table in today's class, inshallah. So, the elements, they can combine together to form compounds with the help of bonding. Okay. And bonding can be ionic or the molecular is written over here. It is actually covalent bonding. Okay. Ionic bonding or covalent bonding. We will discuss that as well. Covalent bonding. When we are talking about solutions or mixtures, the ionic compound, they can easily dissolve in water to form mixtures. They dissolve in water to form mixtures. And these mixtures can be acidic, basic, salt solutions. Okay. These all are made in when water is added, and they are known as aqueous solution. Aqueous solution. Alloys, on the other hand, they are made up of metals. When metal combines with other metal, they form alloys. We will discuss all these things in detail. So coming towards elements, what are elements? Just going through it in a bit fast mode because you guys have already been through this. Okay, this just a revision for you guys. Element is a substance that cannot be broken down into simpler substances by chemical or physical means. This is the definition of element. Classifying element, they can be classified by state. Some are solid at room temperature, some are liquid, and some are gases. The other classifications are classifying by metals and non-metals, type of matter. Okay, how the element can be classified by its type. Is it metal, metalloid, non-metal, or noble gas? Okay. And the third classification can be done by periodicity. From left to right, element changes, the group changes, period changes. Okay. So the periodicity of the elements, they also change. Composition of elements. Elements are made up of atoms. Atom is the smallest unit of an element. Having property. Acha, this is the definition of atom. How do you define atom? Atom is the smallest unit of an element having the property of that element. Molecule is a group of two or more atoms chemically joined together. For example, chlorine molecule has two chlorine atoms. Chemical formula shows the number and kind of atoms in a molecule. For example, chlorine molecule has formula of Cl2, where Cl is the symbol and the subscript number 2 shows the number of atoms, chlorine atoms. Okay, Cl2. So this is the basic knowledge that you must have, or I think you all are well aware of these things. Next is compound. What are compounds? Okay, there is a difference between compound and molecule. Molecule, as I told you guys, in the previous slide, we have been through the example of a molecule which is made up of element, same element. Okay, molecule can form by same element, just like chlorine, just like oxygen. Oxygen, the formula of oxygen is O2. Oxygen, then we have hydrogen. These all are examples of molecules. Then we have nitrogen. Okay, these all are molecules. They are element, and these element they are naturally present in form of diatomic structure. Okay, they always form a bond with the like atoms. Oxygen atom forms a bond with oxygen atom. Hydrogen atom forms a bond with hydrogen atom. Atom forms a bond with nitrogen atom. So the compounds, they are made up of different elements. Compounds, on the other hand, are made up of different elements. Compound is a substance containing two or more elements chemically joined together. Okay, magnesium is an element, oxygen is an element. They can only be burned. Magnesium can be burned to form magnesium oxide. Why we use the word burn? Because when an element is reacting with oxygen, it's the same process of burning. Okay, the burning is the process of reaction with oxygen. Okay, so magnesium, it can react with oxygen. The chemical equation will be magnesium plus oxygen, giving up magnesium oxide. Okay, and how we know this is the formula of magnesium oxide, we will discuss that as well in detail. Okay, and how we will balance this equation. Okay, now this equation is balanced. Two atoms of magnesium will react with one molecule of oxygen gas to give solid magnesium oxide. Okay. The composition of compound. Ions or molecules make up compounds. Compounds ions. Ions are atom having electrical charge. Okay. The atoms having electrical charge, they are called ions. For example, sodium chloride is made up of two ions, positively charged sodium. Na is the symbol of sodium, negatively charged chlorine. Okay. We will discuss it in the bonding, in the topic of under the topic of bonding as well. Mixtures. Now mixtures, as I told you guys, air is a mixture and seawater is a mixture. Any aqueous solution is a mixture. Mixture contains two or more substances not chemically joined together. Okay. Rather, they are mixed together physically. For example, seawater is made up of water and sodium chloride salt. Oxygen in air varies. Okay. The oxygen in air is a mixture of oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide. Okay. And it varies. If we close a room and put lot of human beings in the room, so sooner or later they will consume all the oxygen in the room and the level of oxygen in the room will decrease. Naturally, the level of oxygen in air is 21%. It's 21%. Air is 21% oxygen, 78% nitrogen. So 21 plus 78, it's 99. So 1% is left. 1% out of 1%, 0.04% is carbon dioxide. So it is carbon dioxide and other gases. 1% is carbon dioxide and other gases. Other gases. Okay. Majorly, these gases are noble gases. Okay? They don't react. They are not reactive gases. Or maybe if there is something which is very reactive, then it will be a pollutant. So, there's a table showing the difference between compound and mixture. Component substances means from which a compound is made cannot be separated by physical methods. A chemical method is required for separation, like a chemical reaction. Okay, chemical method is required to separate the components. While for mixtures, the components can be separated by physical methods. Okay, what are the physical methods like filtration, or distillation, fractional distillation, and other uh, methods are also. Magnetic separator are you okay. Magnet can be used for separation of magnetic substances. Okay. So there are other means as well. So these all are physical means. Okay. The compounds, it is physical and chemical processes. Its physical and chemical properties are different from that of its element. Okay. Sodium is very reactive element. Okay. So much reactive that it can react with moisture present in air. The water particles, the water molecules that are present in air, sodium can easily react with those water molecules. Okay. Or even oxygen in air. So usually we store sodium under a substance which is not reactive with sodium, like oil. So we put sodium in under oil. Okay. We put it under oil so that it will not react with air. Okay. Similarly, chlorine gas is very harmful. Chlorine gas is harmful. So when they react together, they form sodium chloride, which is an edible salt, which is very a salt which is necessary for our life. Okay. Okay. There are sodium and chloride ions. They are very necessary for our health. So mixture, its physical and chemical properties are same as that of its components. Okay. Like taking an example of air. Air has oxygen. So we breathe in air. Our lungs, they consume oxygen. They absorb oxygen. Okay. So the physical and chemical property of oxygen is same. Okay. If we breathe in air, we get the oxygen from air. If we breathe in pure oxygen, if an oxygen supply is provided to us, we can easily breathe in that as well. So oxygen in air or pure oxygen, they both are having same properties. So physical and chemical properties of oxygen are intact in the mixture of air. Okay. Uh, fixed composition by mass, compound has fixed composition by mass, while mixture they have variable composition by mass. Okay. The composition usually it is 21%, 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen in air, but it can change. As I told you guys, if I put a lot of people in one room and I close all the windows and doors, so what will happen? Suffocation will happen. Okay, and what is suffocation? Suffocation is an experience when you cannot, your body cannot absorb or is not provided with the oxygen required. Okay, then you feel suffocated. So the compound, point number 4, the compound has fixed melting and boiling point like water. It has fixed melting and boiling point. Okay. While mixtures, they have variable melting and boiling points. Why they have variable melting and boiling points? Because as I told you guys, distillation can happen. Okay. Distillation is a process in which different constituents present, different components which are present in mixture, they boil on their individual temperature. Okay. So, if we have a mixture like salt and water, so the water will boil. If we have a mixture of salt and water, uh, let me salt plus water. Okay, and we heat that mixture. So at 100 degrees centigrade, the water will boil itself. Okay, water boils, leaving salt behind. Okay, so at 100 degrees centigrade, all the water will boil itself. Okay, all the water will be converted into water vapors or steam, he says, while salt will remain in the solution, or you can say in solid form. So mixture, they have variable melting and boiling point. Individual component, they have their own melting and boiling point, and they will boil it themselves at that melting and boiling point. Okay, the types of mixtures, as we discussed, homogeneous mixtures, mixtures which has a uniform composition throughout its bulk, or mixture which has a single phase. For example, air, milk, they are homogeneous mixtures. Okay. Solution of sugar or salt, they are homogeneous as well. Heterogeneous mixtures, what are heterogeneous mixtures? The mixtures which has not uniform composition throughout its bulk, or the mixture which has more than one phase. Okay. For example, the example is salt in water, sand in water, sorry. Sand in water. Okay. If you have a sandy water, water having sand, and you leave it for a while, the sand, it will settle down. Okay. If you have a container and there is a water having sand, so after a while you can see that if this is the layer of, this is the level of water, after a while you can see the sandy water or the muddy water, it will settle down itself. Okay, at the bottom. जो मट्टी वाला पानी होगा वो नीचे बैठ जाएगा, and the pure water, it will remain on the top layer. ठीक है. Similar is the thing with chalk in water. Okay. Limestone, or if you have a chalk, if the water is contaminated with these minerals, they, because they are denser than water, they, after some time, they settle down. Okay. If you leave the water, they will settle down. That means the mixture is, when they are settled down, the mixture is heterogeneous. Okay, moving forward, atomic structure. What is atomic structure? How atoms are made? Basically, atom, they have nucleus in their center, and the nucleus, it has proton and neutron. Okay, proton and neutron, their relative masses are 1, Okay. By the term relative mass, we means mass compared by other components like proton, neutron, and electron. Their masses compared by themselves. Okay. So you can say that these are ratio. Okay. So the ratio of neutron and proton, it is 1:1. And we also call it atomic mass unit or AMU. Let me just change the color. So it is atomic mass unit. So atomic mass unit of proton is 1, neutron is 1. Electron, on the other hand, it is 1/1840 or 1836. Okay. In some books or some places, it is written like 1/1840. So they are almost near to each other. Okay. And they are negligible, of course. So comparing with proton and neutron, electron का mass जो है negligible होता है. That's why we don't consider electrons mass while considering the mass of an atom. जब atom का mass हम consider कर रहे होते हैं, we only consider number of protons and neutrons, and that's it. We don't consider these electrons. So protons and neutrons, they are located in nucleus in the center. These are make up nucleon number. Okay. So nucleon, they are present in nucleus in the center, and then we have energy levels on which there are electrons moving around the nucleus. Okay. Electron move around the nucleus in definite energy levels or electron shells. So these are the shells: first shell, second shell, third shell, and fourth shell. Okay. The electrons, they are present around the nucleus in the form of electron filled shells. Isotopes. Again, isotopes are atoms of the same element with different number of neutrons. Okay, the neutron number is different. Taking an example of hydrogen, it has 3 isotopes. Electronic configuration, how we write electronic configuration at first energy level or first electron filled shell, we have only 2 electrons. Maximum of 2 electrons can be over here in first shell. At second level, we have 8 electrons, maximum of 8 electrons. If an atom has only 6 electrons, then 2 electrons will fill the first shell and 4 electrons will be present in the second shell. Okay. If it has 6 electrons, like carbon has 6 electrons, or the proton number is 6, the first 2 electrons will go over here. First 2 electrons will be over here for carbon, and then 4 electrons will be over here in second electron filled shell. That's it. The maximum number of electrons which can fill the second shell is 8. And the third shell, again, the maximum number of electrons which can fill is 8 again. Okay. And then the rest of electrons, they will fill the next shell. Okay. So 2 in the first shell, 8 in the second shell, 8 in the third shell as well, and the rest of them in fourth shell. We have first 20 electrons, elements of the periodic table. They are included in our syllabus as far as the structure is concerned. हमारे स्ट्रक्चर के लिए फर्स्ट 20 एलिमेंट्स ऑफ द पीरियोडिक टेबल दे आर इन आवर सिलेबस. सिर्फ इनका स्ट्रक्चर आपको ड्रॉ करने के लिए आ सकता है. ठीक है. बाकियों का इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन नहीं आएगी. आउटर मोस्ट शेल के इलेक्ट्रॉन्स आ सकते हैं, बट एटॉमिक मतलब स्ट्रक्चर नहीं आएगा बाकियों. ठीक है. So just keep it in mind. Okay. For example, we have atom of sulfur. Okay. The sulfur, the valence electron is its number of electron in its outermost shell. Sulfur has 6 valence electron, means its valency is 6. Okay. In total, the number of proton in sulfur, they are 16. Okay. So number of protons are 16. So number of electron will be 16 as well. So first 2 electrons in the first atomic electron filled shell, then we have 8 electrons in second electron filled shell, and then we have 6 electrons. So the electronic configuration of sulfur, it will be 2, 8, and 6. Okay. So the electronic configuration, we write it like this with commas or with dots. 2.8.6. Okay. Next is periodic table. Again, periodic table is a tool which has been used since 150 years. Okay. Dmitry Mendeleev was the scientist in 1869. He formed the periodic table. Initially, it had 63 elements, and later on, others chemists, they also uh, included some of the they discovered some of the elements, and they included them in the periodic table. Today's periodic table has 118 elements. Okay, this is how a periodic table looks like. Okay, we have groups and we have periods. The horizontal rows, they are period. The first horizontal law, it has hydrogen and helium. The second one is having lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon. Sodium is in the third period, sodium and magnesium. So in total, we have first 20 elements. Their atomic structure is included in our syllabus of O levels. Hydrogen, helium, 1, 2. And you can see that the atomic number, it is increasing in the pattern like this. The top number, if I can show you guys, the atomic number is mentioned at the top. Hydrogen is 1, helium is 2, then we have lithium 3, and beryllium 4, and so on and so forth. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. First 20 elements. So from hydrogen till calcium. Okay, the atomic structure of these elements is included in our syllabus. Okay. Coming towards the number which we can see in the periodic table, atomic symbol is mentioned in the center, as in the case hydrogen and lithium, you can see beryllium, Ve. On the top, we have atomic number, which is also known as proton number. On the bottom, we have relative atomic mass, which is also known as nucleon number. Okay. They can change their places. Okay. In some periodic tables, nucleon number is mentioned on the top, while atomic number is mentioned at the bottom. So it doesn't matter. जो छोटा नंबर होगा वो एटॉमिक नंबर होगा या प्रोटॉन नंबर होगा, जो बड़ा नंबर होगा वो मास नंबर। ठीक है। So I hope so far it is very clear to you guys. Okay. Why do atoms form bonds? Bonds क्यों बनाने की जरूरत पेश आती है atoms को? अच्छा, every atom it wants the electronic configuration or atomic configuration of the inert gases or group 8 or group 0 elements. This is group 8 or group 0. Okay. So every other elements, they want to achieve the electronic configuration of helium, neon, argon, krypton, and these elements. Okay. For example, lithium has 3 electrons. 3 protons are there, so 3 electrons are there. So lithium will lose 1 electron to form the electronic configuration of helium. On the other hand, carbon will lose, or carbon will share 4 electrons to achieve the electronic configuration of neon. Nitrogen will also want to have the electronic configuration of neon. Oxygen, fluorine, they will also want to have their octet completes. 8 electron, it's large shell. Okay. So we will discuss this topic in the next class. Okay. The topic regarding bonding. That's all for today. I hope the things are clear. If you guys still have any question, just let me know in message. Thank you.